Pliny the Liberator posts this GIF on this tweet here, which is basically describing someone burned 500 ETH over $1 million, which is basically taking your ETH and sending it to the null address, to the burn address. People do this to get attention because nobody just randomly annihilates 500 ether. But this guy annihilated 500 ether to get the attention of the entire internet. And this was the message that it included in this transaction. The bosses of Kuande Investment, Feng Xin and Xu Yuji, used brain machine weapons to persecute all the company employees and former employees, and they themselves are also controlled. Like a brain reading machine is literally controlling them, like sci-fi stuff. Brain computer chips have been militarized and deployed on a large scale, and all military powers are using base stations, radios, and nano-brain computer chips to control all citizens. I don't believe that this could be the case, but it's an interesting sci-fi scenario. Honestly, I think it's something that could happen in the near future. But the plot thickens because this is not the only message that this guy has sent. And you can see it on the Blockchain Explorer on Etherscan. So here's a transaction where this guy sends from his address, his guy's name is hulezhi, and he sent it to the null address, value 500 ETH, $1.38 million. And in fact, you can find that there's been 3 transactions. So it was 15 hours ago for 500 ETH, 2 days ago. That one was for 70 ETH. That was like a trial one. And 7 days ago, the very first one, that was for 33 ETH, around $100,000. So let's start with the first one. There's a new mode of crime in which the victim is gradually deprived of his sense of desire until he becomes a complete slave to the digital machine. And if one day I become a victim of the final stage, I will leave the world. He feels that machine interface, these nanobots, these robots are controlling his mind, and he will suicide, he will leave the world if he feels that he's lost control. And the second message right after that, as the brain-computer interface and the mind-reading technology keeps developing, there's a new mode of crime in which wild animals become puppets or complete slaves to the digital machine. Imagine if this thing can work on your brain, then it could work on animals. The cables that you put in your brain, and this is why it's not likely that this story has any substance. It's because Neuralink is the top candidate to creating a true brain interface, a computer brain interface. But certainly the Chinese are working on this, maybe in secret. Maybe that's why we don't know, and maybe this is the company who's creating this robot that can literally have the electrodes in your brain, see your thoughts, and maybe not just see them, but also stimulate them. Do not disqualify this story just yet, because although it's really fucking far out, I think it's not impossible. And then the last message from hulezhi again, it was 15 hours ago. For 500 ETH, it's something in Chinese, so let's see what it means. By the way, the other 2 messages, I checked the message in Chinese and English, and it seems to be the same. The CEOs of Kuande Investment, Feng Xin and Xu Yuji, used brain-computer weapons to persecute all company employees and former employees, and even they themselves were controlled. The AI corporation run by an AI has actually come alive and is eating people's minds. Crazy shit. And so people have been going back and forth on the internet about this stuff. A lot of people have noticed this, and especially crypto people, because this has been written on the Ethereum blockchain. Let's check out the coin which was created and which is trading at a $5 million market cap as of now. Basically got created 12 hours ago, and people have been trading like crazy. It has a market cap of 5 million and a volume of $46 million in the past 24 hours. So this is definitely super fucking hot. But it is on Ethereum, and that's not where most meme coins trade, and still, it has a website, and it tells the story of hulezhi, a programmer and an entrepreneur, has become the inspiration for this token, a cryptocurrency meme coin that pays tribute to his unique and compelling story. Dirk, are you following?
Yeah, still following.
All right, so
not believing, not buying really, but following.
Yeah, exactly. And they point out how this guy donated. He burned 600 ETH. That's what we saw, the 500 plus 70 plus 30 ETH. that was burned on the blockchain. And he donated 700 ETH to charity. 700 ETH to charity, like where does it come from? Is this true? You can never be sure who owns these coins. A random guy creates a coin. It's possible that he has 90%, and he can just dump next second, and the price is exactly zero. People are buying and selling, and they're hoping that the nuke is not coming. They have a Twitter. It's a one-day-old meme coin. But the interesting thing is that this thing exists on Solana as well. But it's a completely different coin. Like some other random people created another coin for hulezhi. It's been trading, exactly like for the past 12 hours. It's gone up to 1.5 million, and right now it's trailing at 244k market cap. Solana versus Ethereum. The Ethereum one goes without saying is 5 million, so it's like 20 times as big. It's the main one because the whole thing started on Ethereum. So it's bound to happen that someone will create like a major meme coin on a base with hulezhi.
Very interesting story. Let's dive into that story itself, because there's questions that I have when I read what he writes in his three messages that he sent. Employees and also the people like leading the company, and they have some nano or other kind of AI stuff inside of their heads, which to me means nano, it gets deployed. They don't need an interface to deploy it to people. They can give it to you with a handshake, with something like
the pill. Yeah, I totally agree. Exactly, and that's the scary part, because if that's possible, I mean, that means that superintelligence has arrived. Like, this is like not technology that exists currently. Like, how would you ultimately it will happen? How do you like design like a nanobot that's like so small that can like crawl through your tissue and like into your brain, and like establish like long wires where like it's like full of sensors? Physically it's possible, but I think for like some like super small nanobot to build this, I think it's we're not there yet.
Also, you have to protect yourself if you're the developer and something like this exists and you don't want to have it yourself. How do you protect yourself?
Exactly. Like this guy cannot speak, and he's from China, right? And he's a cryptonaut. Like this guy has like over 1,000 ETH, so he's like a crypto millionaire basically. He's not doing this for the money. But yeah, he bought himself some attention with this for sure. Exactly, and he names Kuande Investment. Let's Google this shit. Like maybe we can find Kuande Investment Company.
Let's do a deep research on the whole topic.
yeah, let's fucking do it. All right, should I write a prompt?
It's a total paradox to say, when I'm a total digital slave without desire, then I will leave the world, because then you won't. No.
Exactly. No, but like honestly, like this is like one of the actual outcomes of this human AI partnership. So should I try this on Perplexity? Cool. Do it.
Because at some points when I used the deep research of Perplexity, at step 5 or 6, it started to consider what the user wants, and then it starts over again.
Companies like NeuroXAS, BrainCo, and others are making significant progress in this field, focusing primarily on medical applications such as aiding patients with disabilities, that's what Neuralink does, or neurological disorders. However, there's no evidence suggesting that these technologies are being used for malicious purposes like enslaving animals or depriving humans of desire. It has a good overview of what's going on. I mean, it wasn't like a super long prompt, but yeah. Neuramatrix, BrainCo, and StareMad. It's searching the China web.
With DeepSeek, I like to read the reasoning process just to understand stuff myself.
Yeah, but nothing about the Kuande company.
There we have something. Wizard Quant. I will ask an AI to translate it.
So it's a chip that they like put in your brain through like an operation. It's not something that you swallow or something.
Potential underlying motives. Creating panic to influence stock prices.
Yeah, maybe the guy created the coin. The guy who created the coin burned the ETH to buy some attention, and it worked out. The coin is now at 5 million, so he's winning. So it's 256 sticks in your brain. It can pretty much hear what you're saying. Okay, so now getting to the blockchain messages. exceed the current technical capabilities of existing systems, at least the public ones. But imagine if you put like 10 neural links, right? Like one for you're controlling your mouse with part of your motor cortex, with some other part of your brain. You could like type, and get instructions from the AI. Like hear what the AI says. Like an LLM could like synthesize speech and send it to your auditory cortex. You hear what the AI wants you to hear. Honestly, I think that's like feasible today. What do you think? Pride of his sense of desire. It's not like he's describing in like technical detail that it's like implanted in like this and that part of his brain, and it's doing that kind of like it's more like a general kind of like mood, kind of like a.
It sounds like generally your desire is going down.
Brain-computer interface, mind reading.
I mean, desire can also be my desire to follow orders. Could also go down. Who knows?
Oh yeah, well, probably their desire to serve the digital machine must go up, yeah.